You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 63. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from EduCalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
Hello there and welcome. Today on the show, we're going to be answering some questions that we've gotten from our awesome community of mindful educators. First, we want to thank you so much for being here with us. For those of you that keep coming back every week, we just love connecting with you every week, and we appreciate you and the work that you're doing in the world so much. We are so pumped that we get to be a part of your process and your journey. For those of you that are new to the show, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And we invite you to subscribe to the show. So however you listen to podcasts, hit that subscribe button right now so that you can get our new episodes every week when they come out. All right, let's get started.
Okay, so hello everyone. The first question that we had today actually is not so much a question. It's just we need suggestions for making transitions smoother. So she says, so many of my students go off during transitions, and I know there is a better way. So let's get into this. Kaylee, what is a better way?
So I can totally empathize with this. I know transitions are so hard for teachers. Like, this is probably one of the number one questions we get asked is about transitions.
And it's the hardest in my class too.
Yeah. So this year with my grade 5s, one thing that I noticed is I have a very chatty group. They need time to talk during the day. They're very social, which I had to shift my perspective from thinking that they're wasting time to reminding myself like that they're humans and they have friends, and like, is it really that bad if I give them 2 minutes to chat as they're transitioning from one thing to the next? If anything, that makes it better because they can kind of get that out of their system. So I recognize that pretty consistently, no matter what I did, it took about 5 minutes for the transitions to happen. So I just started accepting that really and saying, okay, it takes them 5 minutes to transition. So I'm going to plan my time, look at the clock, and 5 minutes before we are going to music, I'm going to start that transition 5 minutes before instead of giving them only 2 minutes to transition, knowing that then it's going to be rushed and it's going to be stressed and they're not going to be going fast enough. So it was really just switching my perspective of what a transition should look like and being patient with them, remembering that like they need that time. Yeah.
And it was really the type of group you worked with.
Yeah.
I know another thing that you did, Kaylee, is that you would literally like write out every step in a routine on the board. Am I right?
Yes. So another thing was that this group, it took them a very long time to catch on to our daily routines. Really, it was something that I reminded them of every single day for the entire year. So I had our schedule written on the board, and I on purpose tried to eliminate as many transitions as possible. So that actually meant that I played with my schedule, and instead of having like 30 minutes of math and then 30 minutes of science, I would do an hour of math, giving them movement breaks in between, but knowing that transitioning, if I was to transition from math to science and only in those 30-minute blocks, we'd have like 15 minutes really to work with that thing. So then I would do a longer science block the next day, and I kind of reduced the amount of transitions and tried to keep the routines as similar as possible every single day. And I would involve them in it. So I would have it written on the board. We would come in the morning, and I would literally ask them like, okay, guys, how much time do you have to get ready before the morning announcements? 3 minutes. Okay, you have your 3 minutes. Then the announcements would start, O Canada would start, and then I'd point to the board and say, okay, we just had O Canada, what's next? And they would say, EduCalm, and I'd say, okay, let's get ready for EduCalm. We did EduCom. Okay, guys, what do we do every day after EduCom? Point at the board again. I literally did this every single day, which at first was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I still have to remind them of this. Honestly, I was like, why have they not caught on yet? But then I recognized, okay, I can have that expectation in my mind that they should know this by now. But that actually just made my life worse. If I just accepted the fact that this is just a part of our day. This is what they need from me. And accepted that I had to go through those routines with them every day, then it was easier on me. It was easier on them. And the day just went more smoothly.
Maybe we should mention that you're done your term now by this point.
Yes, I am. I had to say goodbye to my kiddos, which was
so tough.
I got so many hugs and cards, and it was really sweet.
Yeah. A little side note.
Yeah. Yeah, just finished the term. And so then now I'm back to EduCom full bore. And I'm really, really happy about that. And also, it was so hard to say goodbye to my kiddos at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm half time till the end of the school year, which was unexpected also.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Anyway, that's a side note, but I just feel like you were talking about it like it was in the past.
Yeah.
So people might have been curious. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit of context.
Yeah. So for me with my group, I have somewhat of a chatty group, but nothing compared to what you describe. And so honestly, what works really well with my group, two things. One is just being patient with them, like actually just being patient with them. One thing that really works is I turn off the lights, and I have a very small window in my class, so it gets quite dark when I shut the lights. And that's for them right away a cue to, okay, calm down, stop talking. And I will just like breathe. Sometimes I'll put my finger to like on, I can't explain this. But I won't do shh. I'll just
put
my
finger in front of your lips,
and then I'll just breathe. That works really well. And usually if I do that, then I don't actually have to open my mouth or say anything at all. So sometimes it'll still take them 2 to 3 minutes to settle down, but it's like a calm way of doing it. I don't have to talk. I don't have to yell over the noise. I can just patiently wait for them to calm and to be ready to go to the next thing. And in my classroom, I feel like we can get through transitions quite quickly with that method now. It was harder at the beginning of the year. And what I found was that, with time, students started getting annoyed that other students would be like making noise. So they would be the ones shushing their friends.
Yeah.
So I had to do nothing. And now they're so used to the routine that it just happens quickly.
That's awesome.
And another thing that works really well with my students, I do still find, because I do agenda at the end of the day, just because that's how it works with my schedule. Like we switch for math and stuff, and it's really the only time I can do it. And I do find that time a little bit chaotic. But if I stagger my students, so I basically what I do is I get all of my students to keep doing their work, like whatever tasks they're working on. And then I only ask 4 to 5 students at a time to put away their things, then to do their agenda and get ready to go home. And I give them a minute to have their kind of chaos around like getting their agenda and putting their things away and all that. So I'll give them a minute and then I'll tell the next group to do it. Give them a minute, tell the next group to do it.
That's really smart.
Usually that really helps, because that's definitely the hardest transition in my class is like at the very end of the day to go home. So that is really, really helpful.
Nice. I do something kind of similar, and that's simply just one thing I had to work on a lot with my students is like how to close off one activity before moving to the next. So, at the end of math, now we put our math things away and we clean our desk and we put away anything we use during this time before moving on. So I just simply, I would put timers up on the board constantly. Like everything we did, I'd put up a timer. And I found that that really gave them some ownership of how they're using that time. So instead of me expecting them like, okay, clean up your things in 2 seconds, I would, put up a timer. Okay, guys, first we clean up. Then you do like you clean your station, then you do your class job. So they all had a specific area of the class that it was up to them to clean up. Then they come back to their desk. And when they're ready to move to the next thing, they raise their hand. So that really kept the chaos of transitions a little bit more organized. And also, since I gave them 3 minutes is a pretty long time, it allowed them to chat a little bit with their friends, to grab a sip of water from their water bottle. Get it out of
their system kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But once that 3 minutes was up, they were all ready. So they would all use their time differently. But I would just step back and let them choose how they're going to use that 3 minutes. And almost always they were all ready by the end of the 3 minutes. We were very motivated by countdowns. And then
challenge accepted.
Yeah. And then those that were ready first got to go to the next thing first. So that was another motivation for them to use their transition time wisely.
And I feel like that brings us perfectly into the next topic. But first, just to all of you listening, like just try one of these options out and see how it goes. You should try it for at least a week to 2 weeks before you decide how you feel about it before moving on. So if it doesn't work after that long, try something else. Don't try to do all of this at once, because that just adds to the chaos instead of taking away from it during transition times. So the next one, you're talking about timers, and this is something we wanted to talk about for this question. The next question was, I would like to learn how to calm my students down faster. We love laughing and being silly, but then it's so hard to get back to work after. Could you offer suggestions on this? So the timer one is perfect for this.
Yeah. But first off, I want to say congrats to this listener that gave us this question.
Right.
I love that you said we love being silly. That's something that I think we forget in the classroom, how important it is to laugh and have fun.
Yes, totally.
And take that time to be silly. But yes, then afterwards, we do need to rein it in. So like I mentioned before, timers were something that I did with my classroom constantly. I found that pretty much any instruction that I gave, say I said, okay, everyone go grab a pencil, no one would move. It was like that they needed the point at which now I go get my pencil. So I would constantly, if I didn't have an actual timer up on the board, I would count down. So I'd say, okay, everyone needs a pencil in 10, 9, 8, and that gave them like a couple seconds to just get their bearings before they're like, okay, now I need to get to action.
A little competitive class you've got.
They are a little bit competitive, yeah. And it's amazing how much that little countdown, I think it's because they're also very independent, super independent people. Like there's going to be so many leaders of the world in that classroom. I'm so excited to see like how they grow up and what they create in the world, because they're very independent and want ownership over their choices.
That's awesome.
And I think that's what it gave them. During that countdown, it gave them the option to be like, okay, here's the time that I have, but I know how to manage my time. So I know I have, 2 seconds that I can talk to my friend I can finish up my sentence, and then I'm going to go quickly grab my pencil. So that helped a lot for getting things moving faster.
Another option here would also be to, like, this is something I do, is getting my students to put their head on their desk and like hide themselves with their arms and just take a breather. Mm-hmm. Like, it's fun to be silly and to laugh, but when we can't get out of it, we can't learn, right? So just giving them that time where they're in their little bubble, just to recharge, refocus before we get into a lesson. I'll often do that, especially after when we have like meetings in the gym or like rallies of some sort or whatever. My students always come back from those like off the walls. So I just give them like 3 minutes where they just have their head on their desk
That's awesome.
And then after that, I don't even need to say anything. It's like, okay, now let's get to work, you know?
Yeah. Gives them that chance to just settle down and remove distraction. Especially, I find that very helpful in my class too, is getting them to put their head down on their desk, because it just gives them, like you said, their own little bubble.
They can't see what their friends are doing and stuff, which I think is especially important, like grade 6 and 5, when they're trying to be a lot like their peers, right?
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I did a lot was when, that energy was really high, like being silly, everyone's laughing, and it's like, okay, we need to bring ourselves back down, is I would say to them, okay, guys, I'm noticing that you have a lot of energy right now. It must be really hard to learn when you have so much energy. What do you think we could do to come back to a calm state so that we're so that our brain is able to learn? And because we have our daily mindfulness practice, they have all sorts of strategies that they've learned with the Educom classroom practices. Mm-hmm. So someone will always say something like, oh, maybe we should do 5-finger breathing. That'll help. Or someone will say, let's do sun breathing, madame. Or sometimes they'll say, madame, we really need a movement break. Can we move around a little bit? And then I'm, Of course. Yeah. Let's do a 2-minute movement break. Everyone stand up. Let's do some sun breathing. So we just inhale, reach our arms up, exhale, arms down. Do that about 5 times. Do a little stretch. I'll just guide them through something very simple, just gentle stretching. And then we'll sit back down. Okay. I notice now that your brains are more ready to learn. Let's get into it. So it's, again, giving them that ownership, especially at that age in grade 5. They really want to start making their own choices. So giving them those options of, okay, I see that you need my support. What do you think you need to be ready to learn?
An awesome one, and we talk about it often, is the 5-finger breathing strategy. Super useful for kids because it's so visual. How does it go, Kaylee?
So you put one hand out in front of you. You use the index finger of your other hand to trace your hand. Inhaling really deep and slow. You just inhale up, exhale down. And by the time you get to the end of the hand, usually
the other side of the wrist.
Usually the kids have calmed down quite a bit. And I love to ask a student to guide the class through it too.
And that is a freebie that we have for you, is the 5-finger breathing poster. So where can they get that, Kaylee?
So go to podcast.educalm.com. And then once you get there, you'll see all of our episodes. This is episode number 63. So once you click on episode number 63, you'll see where you can get the freebie.
It's in our show notes. All right. So try one of these things out to help your students return to calm again. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Next question, I think we're going to go over pretty quickly. It's, do you think it's okay to let students draw or color during mindfulness practice?
So my question is, it depends. So you, as the professional in the situation that knows your specific students and what their specific needs are, it's up to you to decide how you want to manage this. So in my classroom, right at the very beginning, when we started mindfulness, they were very fidgety and it was very hard for them to sit still through the practice. So I offered 3 options. I said, option number 1, if you're having a hard time focusing, put your head down on the table and, cover your eyes so that you're not distracted by those around you. Option number 2, you can color quietly, but you have to have all of your coloring materials out already. So you can't be like fidgeting in your desk and making noise. And third option was they were able to sit on a wobble chair or something, or have a fidget.
Just to move a little bit.
Yeah, that helped them to, just move in a way that wasn't confining to them, but also wasn't distracting to those around them. So that worked for a little bit until I noticed that those that were coloring weren't really participating in the practice anymore. And at that point, we restructured the rules. And they were also at a point that they were more ready, because we'd practiced enough, they were more ready to get to the next level of challenge, which was no distractions, no drawing. So I removed that option and they were totally capable. But totally up to you. It depends on your students. Maybe you'll say no drawing, but then there's one student that is going to benefit from drawing during that time. Well, then give that one student that option.
What I actually did, because I didn't think that any student in my class would need to draw during mindfulness, I didn't say anything about it. But there was a point like a month into it when one student asked me, Madame, can I draw during mindfulness? And I said, I think I said something like, can you try a few more days just without drawing and see how it goes? And he never asked me again.
There we go.
So, and this child participates, he's into it. So I don't know. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, but it seems like it all fell into place really well.
Yeah.
So
another option too is that if you do have a child that really wants to draw and you think that that's the right choice for that student's needs, then ask them to draw what they're learning from the practice. So what they are drawing is helping them to appreciate or participate in the practice even at a deeper level, rather than just, oh, here's a distraction so that you're not listening. It's here's a way to understand it even more.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think of that.
And I would say that the test to see if whatever option you choose is working for you is to talk to your students. Ask them, what did you notice during the practice today? What are you learning from EduCalm? What are you learning from our mindfulness practice? And a lot of times when it seems like a student is distracted, they actually are taking it in. It surprises me every time.
Seriously. It's often the ones that you think aren't listening that are taking all of it in.
Yes, and are benefiting the most. So yeah, if you're unsure, talk to your students. You'll get the feedback that you need to make that choice for them.
All right. So your exit ticket for today is to grab your free 5-finger breathing poster.
You can get it by going to podcast.educalm.com and click on episode number 63.
Have an awesome week.
Bye. Hey there, balanced educator. We understand the challenge and stress of trying to meet your students' diverse social, emotional, and academic needs. Thankfully, we found Mindfulness, which helped us create a calm, well-managed learning environment, improving both our students and our own well-being. Teachers are busy, so we created an online bilingual English and French mindfulness program made especially for the classroom that is ready to use. No prep required. Just press play and enjoy returning to calm as you listen to the 5-minute guided mindfulness practices with your students. Then you can take the concrete self-regulation strategies that you and your students are learning into your regular teaching curriculum with our beautiful, inclusive printables. Thrive in a calm learning atmosphere. We want to set you up for success. So for a limited time, we're offering an extended membership to EduCalm Classroom. Enroll before June 15th, 2019, and you'll have access to all the content until June 30th of 2020. This means you can play with the program this year and feel confident and ready to get started with your students right away next school year. We have 2 payment options to suit your needs. You can pay by check by emailing bonjour@educalm.com and we'll send you an invoice. Bonjour is spelled BONJOUR @educalm.com. Or you can pay online with a credit card by going to www.educalm.com/classroom. EduCalm is spelled EDUCALME. So again, that's educalm.com/classroom. We're so excited for you to join our amazing community of caring, mindful, superstar teachers that are changing the world, one EduCalm classroom practice at a time.